Linda, ready?
Wait a minute. Now I am.
I'd like to go ahead and call the Circleville City Council meeting to order. It is Tuesday, January the 16th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Linda, could you do a roll call, please?
Brooks,
Here.
Duvall,
Here.
Hallidan,
Here.
Hedges,
Here.
Klitschko,
Here.
Tice.
Here.
If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done,
on earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread,
As we
Forgive us our trespasses,
as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever.
Amen. Jesus. Council, you should have received a copy of the city council meeting minutes from January the 2nd. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Motion to approve? So moved by Sherry Tice, seconded by Jeff Hallinan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those minutes will be filed as they're recorded. Reports from council members or committee reports. Does any council member have a report? Tom Duvall. Yes, sir.
Thank you, President Keller. We have 5 ordinances reviewed by the Service Committee for we're recommending for passage, and I will talk about them in more detail when they hit the agenda.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sherry Tice?
Thank you, President Keller. We do have an ordinance that came from our strategic planning meeting last Tuesday, and we will discuss that when it comes up.
Okay, thank you very much. And Katie?
Thank you, President Keller. We did have our first finance meeting of the year last Thursday, January 11th. And we have one ordinance that came from that that's on the agenda for this evening that we'll discuss.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
We have reports from our city officials that are here tonight as council guests. We have our law director, Kendra Kinney, and Mayor Michelle Blanton. Do either of you have a report?
I do, President Keller. I believe on January 2nd, 2024, outgoing law director Gary Kenworthy did give his annual report.
Okay.
But just to summarize some of those for what occurred during the calendar year of 2023, the City Law Director's Office provided 94 opinion letters to city officials requesting a legal opinion on various issues and to various law enforcement agencies. And with regards to those law enforcement agencies, there were legal opinion as to whether or not evidence was sufficient to present and prosecute a criminal violation. In the year 2023, a total of 6,042 traffic cases were filed, together with 294 cases for operating a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol, and 1,339 criminal cases. While the majority of those cases, most of them sometimes being traffic, were usually handled by a way of arraignment, the office had to conduct 1,154 criminal misdemeanor cases, 357 felony cases, and 796 traffic cases for a grand total of 2,307 cases last year. Obviously, the office was responsible for gathering all evidence and providing discovery materials to either each defendant or defense counsel. And with regards to that, so the council can see the bulk and the burden that was placed. There were 3,842 court notices, 1,582 notifications or other correspondence to officers, and there were at least 826 subpoenas. Additionally, in addition to Mr. Kenworthy's report, starting in April of last year, Marsy's Law went into effect, which gives victims now additional rights within the criminal system, including placing a burden on the law director's office to provide notice to those victims and to work with those victims throughout the entire length of a case, not just up to criminal prosecution, but obviously anything that would follow up after that. So that was a new area of law that had to be navigated, as well as educating law enforcement officers of their obligations under the law and working closely with our victims office to enact those provisions of the law. Besides handling the criminal and traffic violations, there were a total of 100 city ordinances that were reviewed and drafted by Mr. Kenworthy's office during the calendar year, plus numerous responses to email and questions by various city personnel and countywide law enforcement agencies that were too numerous to even keep track of. Obviously, we hope that kind of gives you a broad view of what the law director's office did accomplish in the last year. And obviously we'll continue to do so this year with some new changes enacted as we kind of progress through my first year at least. Thank you.
My reaction to that is good luck to you and your staff.
Yes. Thank you.
Michelle, do you have a report?
Yes, so since the last council meeting on the 2nd, I've met with the P3 executive director and his team a couple of times. We have had a couple of meetings with the law director. There is some coloration changes over at the city admin building. We're painting. So if you come over during the day, there will likely be some guests in there. So we're excited for that. Again, my office has moved to where the conference room was last year. So I'm back in front where the windows are. And the conference room is now where the mayor's office was previously. Several meetings set up with the Montrose Group to continue with the contract that we have with them, as well as several meetings with citizens and questions that they have, things that they would like to follow up on. And so hopefully in the next couple of weeks and or months, you'll be hearing some of those items.
Great. Michelle, thank you very much for that. And I know good luck to you too as well and your staff. For council, as you know, they're both newly elected into their positions. If you have a time that you need to meet with them, just please be courteous and schedule time with them and don't pop right in, and because they may be tied up doing other things. So please schedule time with them. Okay. Does anybody have any questions for the city officials that are here? No? All right. Would anybody like to address city council tonight? Council is always open to public comment. You're welcome to come to the podium with a 5-minute time limit. And would anybody like to speak to council tonight? Come on up. Please give us your name and your address. And again, the clerk will keep track of your time and she'll give you a 30-second notice when you're nearing the 5-minute time limit and then when you're completed. So go right ahead. Welcome.
Thank you, Barry. Erica Morgan, 521 North Court Street. I start to sound like a broken record, I feel sometimes. Michelle, I would like to thank you for taking your time out on Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning to come and visit with me. I feel like I'm getting somewhere now. I really do. I really wanted to come up here and I wanted to look at you and thank you, because I feel like I'm finally being heard in everything that I'm trying to be done. I understand that, you have gotten all my text messages and everything, and now we're leaving this to administration. So I was hoping to follow up with you to check and see how that was going with legislative, Zach. So wanted to check about that signage still, and I do appreciate you really on a Saturday when it's probably her day off. She came to my house and met, and I got to explain everything from start to finish of where I feel where I haven't been heard and everything else. So I do appreciate that out of Michelle. We were getting snowed on. My kids were playing at the park. They're yelling out the window every once in a while, wanting their McDonald's. So it was very nice to have that with Michelle. I really do appreciate that out of the mayor. You did a great job. And I really, truly appreciate everything of listening to me that you have done. So I appreciate everything. And I don't know about that last envelope. I don't know if what I needed to do. I talked to Katie Hedges about it, but about filing something against somebody also that we talked about, the last thing that I dropped off in your office. So I don't know if I have to do that with Mr.
Yeah, that
President.
wouldn't be a council function. You'd have to go to the administration. If there's probably a procedure how to file a document if you have a complaint or a
Yes.
concern.
Yes.
I would stop over to city admin and do that.
Okay, perfect. I thank you so much. And I appreciate everything. You guys have a great day.
Erica, I'll follow up with you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you very much. Linda, do we have any communications?
Yes, sir, I have three. I have a notice from the Office of the Mayor, Michelle Blanton, dated January 12th, 2024, to Megan Travis. Dear Megan, thank you for agreeing to continue to serve on the City of Circleville Park Commission. Your new term will expire on January 31st, 2027. And another notice from the Office of the Mayor, Michelle Blanton, dated January 3rd, to Amy Elsa. Amy, thank you for accepting a reappointment to the Circleville Service Commission. You have been appointed to fill the 2-year term expiring on February 1st, 2026. And, well, I had another one, I mislaid it, from Jean Drosty from the Lease Oversight Board. She submitted the October 2023 minutes.
Great. Thank you, Linda. Council, I'd like to entertain a motion to place these documents on file. So moved by Katie Hedges, seconded by Tom Klitschko. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, thank you very much, Linda. That brings us to the business portion of tonight's meeting. We got several pieces of legislation that are here for first reading. So Linda, if you'd like to get started, you're right ahead.
An ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service to advertise for bids and enter into contracts for the 2024 street, utilities, parks, and traffic signal improvements and maintenance program and declaring an emergency.
Council, you've heard the first reading of this ordinance that originated from the Service Committee. Tom, would you like to comment?
The Service Committee is recommending this for approval. There's about 3 recurring annual ordinances in the 5 we're presenting tonight. This basically allows the Service Director, Jim Stanley, to perform his duties as Service Director. Just sort of for whatever it may be of interest. If you look under the whereas, that's an excellent job description for the Service Director. And it looks like they've got all the areas covered very, very thoroughly. So on that basis, I would recommend it for passage.
Great. Any other comments? How about a motion to suspend the rules?
Done.
Done by Tom Duval, seconded by Jeff Hallinan. Roll call, please, on the motion to suspend council rules.
Duval,
Yes.
Hallinan,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Kalitzka,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Council rules are suspended. You're free to act on the ordinance.
Motion for passage.
Motion for passage by Jeff Hallinan, seconded by Tom Duval. Roll call, please, on the motion for passage.
Hallinan,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Kalitzka,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval.
Yes.
The ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 0104, 2024. An ordinance authorizing the Service Director of the City of Circleville to enter into an agreement with govdeal.com to sell and dispose of personal property services for the city for the year 2024 and declaring an emergency.
Council, you've heard the first reading of this ordinance from the Service Committee. Tom?
Again, an annual recurring ordinance. We've used this in the past. It helps us get rid of old, obsolete, or no longer functional vehicles from the fleet. And it makes it a lot easier to go through govdeals.com rather than do it individually at Circleville. So on that basis, we recommend this also for approval.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Is there a motion?
Suspend the rules.
Motion to suspend the rules by Katie Hedges, seconded by Sherry Tice. Roll call, please, on the motion to suspend council rules.
Hedges,
Yes.
Kalitzka,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes.
Hallinan.
Yes.
Council, you're free to act on the ordinance.
Make a motion for passage.
Motion for passage by Zach Brooks, seconded by Tom Duval. Roll call, please, on the motion for passage.
Kalitzka,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes.
Hallinan,
Yes.
Hedges.
Yes.
Ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 0105, 2024. An ordinance authorizing the mayor and/or director of public service to apply for and accept FY 2024 Community Development Block Grant formula funds through the Pickaway County Board of Commissioners and the state of Ohio and declaring an emergency.
Council, again, you heard the first reading of this ordinance from the Service Committee. Tom?
Once again, we would we go to council for approval. Just as a bit of information, the Community Development Block Grant is from the state of Ohio, which is administered by the Pickaway County Commissioners. So we're going there, again, asking for a grant. We did this, I believe, 2 years ago for Walnut Street. It is going to be a total rebuild of Walnut Street from Clinton to Washington. And I think we discussed previously, this is a needed improvement in the city of Circleville.
Okay, thank you very much, Tom. Any other questions or comments? How about a motion?
Motion to suspend the rules?
Motion to suspend the rules by Sherry Tice, seconded by Zach Brooks. Roll call, please, on the motion to suspend the rules.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes,
Halladin,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Kalicka.
Yes.
Council, you're free to act on the ordinance.
Motion for passage.
Motion for passage by Jeff Halloran, seconded by Katie Hedges. Roll call, please, on the motion for passage.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval,
yes,
Halladin,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Kalicka,
Yes.
Tice.
Yes.
The ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 0106, 2024. An ordinance authorizing Director of Public Service to purchase a 2024 Ford F-350 truck utilizing the State of Ohio Cooperative Purchasing Program for the Department of Public Service Utilities Department and declaring an emergency.
Council, you've heard the first reading of this ordinance, again from the Service Committee. Tom?
before we discuss it, Linda, if you look at it, the whereas, an F-150 truck is a typo. It should be F-350. I would move that we correct that typo in the ordinance.
Okay, so Tom motions to amend the ordinance to change that F-150 to F-350. Is there a second to that? Seconded by Zach Brooks. Roll call, please, on that amendment.
Okay. Hang on. Duval,
Yes,
Halladin,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Kalicka,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Okay, the ordinance has been amended. Tom, you want to speak to it?
with that amendment in place, this is again a budgeted expenditure. This is a replacement of a 20-year-old F-350 truck. It's identical truck, it's just it's used, it has exceeded its useful life. If you note there, we're getting half of it from the water fund and half of it from the sewage fund. The numbers there in front of you. On that basis, we would again recommend approval by council.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Any other questions or comments? Motion?
It is budgeted.
Yes.
It is budgeted.
Good, thank you. Motion to suspend the rules by Katie Hedges, seconded by Sherry Tice. Roll call, please, on the motion to suspend the rules.
Halladin,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Kalicka,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval.
Yes,
Council, you're free to act on the ordinance. Motion for passage by Tom Duval, seconded by Zach Brooks. Roll call, please, on the motion for passage.
Hedges,
Yes.
Kalicka,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval,
yes,
Halladin.
Yes.
The ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 0107, 2024. A final ordinance authorizing Ohio Department of Transportation, ODOT, to rehabilitate Lancaster Pike from East Main Street to the East Corporation Limit and East Main Street from Mingo Street to the South Corporation Limit, including pavement planning, pavement repair, resurfacing, pavement markings, line within the city of Circleville and declaring an emergency.
Council, you've heard first reading of this ordinance, again from the Service Committee. Tom?
a bit of explanation. It's starting on Lancaster Pike, about Sutherland's is our boundary, going to the dairy filling station there where we turn Main Street. You're going to be turning to the left, going down 56 to about Rhodes Farm Market. Those is going to be totally resurfaced by the state of Ohio. It's about a $900,000 project, of which our portion is $528,142. It is budgeted. We have 1.6 million in our budgets this year for streets, of which that 500,000 is part of that. It's included. This may be the last time we see the state of Ohio doing work for Circleville for many years. We saw them doing 22, 23 last year. Same thing here. They'll be in total charge of it. We simply pay our portion. That's the good news. The bad news is if we find something under that repaving, we own it. So it may indeed be slightly more than that. We hope not. This is our best guess, but we'll find out as we go through the process. But again, if we say no, then we get no road improvement and we don't get the support from the state of Ohio, about $327,000 for the city of Circleville to put towards this project.
And if I remember correctly, the director said there's a timing issue to this piece of legislation.
Yes.
Yep.
There is. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Motion to suspend the rules?
Motion to suspend the rules by Sherry Tice, seconded by Tom Duvall. Roll call, please, on the motion to suspend the rules.
Kalitzka,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duvall,
Yes.
Halloran,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Council, you're free to act on the ordinance.
Motion for passage?
Motion for passage by Sherry Tice, seconded by Katie Hedges. Roll call, please, on the motion for passage.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duvall,
Yes.
Halloran,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Kalitzka.
Yes.
Ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 0108, 2024. An ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service to apply for Transportation Alternatives Program funding TAP to be used for the construction of multi-use path for pedestrians and bicyclists to access Barthelmess Park, to enter into a contract with the Director of the Ohio Department of Transportation if the application for funding is approved, and declaring an emergency.
Council, you've heard the first reading of this ordinance that originated from the Strategic Planning Committee. Sherry?
Thank you, President Keller. Yes, the service director came to our meeting and he would like to apply for grant funding to do a path for bicycles and pedestrians along Ohio Street, basically starting about at the pickup building and going down the street where there's no sidewalks, all the way around the corner in the cornfield area, and then it'll cross the road there. There'll be an intersection with some lights for pedestrians to cross Kingston Pike and be able to access Barthelmess Park. So we recommended this for passage.
Any other comments or questions? Is there a motion?
Make a motion to suspend the rules.
Motion to suspend the rules by Sherry Tice, seconded by Katie Hedges. Roll call, please, on the motion to suspend the rules.
Excuse me. Brooks,
Yes.
Duvall,
Yes.
Halloran,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Kalitzka,
Yes.
Tice.
Yes.
Council rules are suspended. Motion for passage by Katie Hedges, seconded by Sherry Tice. Roll call, please, on the motion for passage.
Duvall,
Yes.
Halloran,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Kalitzka,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
The ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 0109, 2024. The last one. An ordinance amending the annual appropriation ordinance in a general fund 101, Ted Lewis Park Fund 218, Water Rehabilitation Fund 838, Sanitary Sewer Improvement and Extension Fund 920 of the city of Circleville.
Council, for the first reading of this ordinance from the Finance Committee. Katie?
Thank you, President Keller. This was discussed. It is a housekeeping ordinance appropriating funds. The four main items that were discussed. It's the financing for the skid steer that was purchased that came through the service department for $25,000. It increased a line that was having to do with park improvements for a $5,000 donation that DuPont made. $75,000 for professional services that were both related to the water plant rehabilitation fund. And the largest amount in that was $250,000, which was the OPWC match, which was the capital outlay for the sanitary sewer improvement. So that did come through finance with a recommendation for passage.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions or comments to the ordinance? Motion?
Motion to suspend the rules.
Motion to suspend the rules by Katie Hedges, seconded by Tom Duvall, or Tom Klitzka. Roll call, please.
Halloran,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Kalitzka,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval.
Yes.
Counselor, you're free to act on the orders. Passage by Katie Hedges, seconded by Zach Brooks. Roll call, please, on the motion for passage.
Hedges,
Yes.
Kalitska,
Yes.
Tice,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes.
Hallinan.
Yes.
The ordinance passes.
Ordinance number 01-10-2024. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome.
Council, that brings us to the new business portion of tonight's meeting. I know we have listed an executive session. Before we address that, is there any other new business? I know we have an executive session for two reasons, and I believe Katie's going to make those motions.
Thank you. So I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session for two different purposes. The first being pending litigation per ORC for 121.22G3. The second being for the purpose of collective bargaining discussion per ORC 121.22G4. Further inviting all of City Council, President Keller, the mayor, and the law director.
Great, thank you. Is there a second to that? Second by Jeff Hallen. Before we do the roll call, Linda, I just want to announce that also, once the executive session adjourns, we will only come back into regular session to adjourn the regular council meeting. Roll call, please.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval,
Yes.
Hallinan,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Kalitska,
Yes.
Tice.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll adjourn to the executive session here in a few minutes, give the room a chance to clear and let Linda get our documents. See you, Karen.